This is IGCSE Math 2, notes on volume and of prisms and cylinders. So first thing, a prism, it's going to be a cube, some type of cube shape, three-dimensional. Now we have a formula which is going to be V, stands for volume, equals big B. If you notice, this is a capital B, which is different than what I had when I was trying to find just area. So big B stands for the area of the base, and height, which is going up and down from that right there. So for this problem right here, this is already worked out. This top piece right here, this is going to be the big B. This is top piece. So if I were to be able to turn this to the side, I would look at it and say, alright, now this piece right here is going to have a length of 7 and width of 5. So that's why we get the 7 times 5, because we're finding that area and going in the third direction perpendicular to one of those is going to be the height, h. So that's where I get my 3 from. So the 7 times 5 is 35 times 3 gives me the 105 centimeters cubed. There's a typo on here, I'm sorry. Now volume is always cubed. So whatever the units are, it's going to be to the third power. Like that. So it's always going to be a third power. Now this next problem that I have here, it's guided practice, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to trace out. This right here is going to be my big B. So tracing that out right there. So I'm going to look at this. It is going to have my big B is equal to whatever the length times width. So this is going to be, it's 20 inches long times 4, because it's that wide, so it's going to be 4 inches wide. So that's going to be my big B. So B is equal to 20 times 4, which is 80. Okay, and so now that's the big B, so that's going to plug into my big B, and then that's going to be, so now my volume is equal to 80 times the height. So we have 80 times 80 is this right here, and the height going straight up and down from that is going to be 2. So my volume is equal to 160, that's inches cubed. Now next one right here, we'll look at it, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace out one of the sides and I'm going to say what it is. Now this, I'll call it, okay, I could actually do whichever, top or bottom, but I will do top just because I need to show that these numbers transfer across the shape like this. So this is a parallelogram right here. So on this parallelogram, this is going to be a 15 by 7.3. So my big B is going to be equal to 15 times 7.3. Now take out my calculator for this one. So 15 times 7.3, which is going to give me big B is equal to 109.5. So there's that one. So that's my big B. So now we could plug that into my volume. So volume is equal to 109.5 times my height. The height of this shape here is going to be 14. So I multiply that times 14. So I should have volume is equal to 1533, and my units here are all in centimeters, so that's going to be centimeters cubed. This next problem here is going to be a cylinder. Here's a cylinder here. So volume of cylinder is the area of the base times the height. Now right here, this looks kind of weird. Okay, so it's the same as what we had before, but it's a different shape. So what we're doing here is actually we're breaking it up into pi r squared, because right here we actually have a circle. Yes, it looks like an oval here, but I'm looking at it from a three-dimensional shape here. So there's going to be my circle, and that's how I get my pi r squared there, and times the height. That's going to be the distance from the top to the bottom. Distance from top to bottom is going to be my height there. Now, don't forget, radius is always the distance halfway across here. So for this one, plugging in pi r squared, so r squared pi times 14, which is right here. Worked it out, and comes up with 1134. I'm not liking that answer. So, clear. 9 squared. Wait, hold on. Pi. Clear. Pi times 9 squared times height. What do we say height was? 14. So we get volume is about 3562.6, because if we're rounding here, we look at the 6, make that 5 go up, and that's going to be my units, which is inches cubed. So this answer right here was in terms of pi, but I don't like it in terms of pi. Multiply the thing out. You got a calculator. Now, there's the next problem here. So we're going to go through and we're going to use the same thing. So volume is equal to pi r squared h. So now let's plug in equals pi. Now radius, right here, radius, so if you notice right here it says from the center out here going to there, it's going to be 3.5. So that's my radius. I'm going to square that and times my height. Now how tall? This is going to be 5.5 tall. So I could just plug this into the calculator as is. Pi times 3.5 close square times 5.5 close, and it should give me volume is about 211 point. Now it goes 6 6. Now that second 6 is going to make that 6 round up, so it's going to be 7, and my units here are going to be in feet, so it's feet cubed. Now here's another example of one. So we need to make sure on this one we have the correct formula. So volume is equal to pi r squared h. Now let's take a look. Volume is equal to pi. Now r in this problem, so it gives us the distance from here to here is 7. So that's all the way across the circle. Since that's all the way across the circle, that means it's going to be the diameter. Now, we don't want the diameter, we only want the radius. So radius is here to here. So this is all I need from here. And we know that the radius is always half the diameter. So half of 7 is 3.5. 3.5, and that's going to be square, times my height. My height here is going to be 5.5. And these are all in meters. So right here, let's go ahead, we're going to plug that into my calculator. Pi, let me clear. Pi, parentheses, 3.5, close square, times 5.5, close, enter, and I get volume is about 211.7, and the only thing different about this one than my previous one right here is This one up here is in feet, and this one down here is in meters, so that's meters cubed. Alright, hopefully there is no questions over this. Fairly straightforward on this.